All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the June 14th, 2022 meeting of the Design Review Board for the town of Waterford. This meeting is being audio and video recorded. A recording of the video will be available within 24 hours and will be posted to the town of Waterford's planning department website. To ensure good sound quality, the default rule for this meeting is that everyone remains on mute unless they're speaking. If an attendee creates an audio or visual disruption, the Zoom moderator may place them on mute or remove them from the meeting if the disruption continues. We appreciate your attendance, and if you have any questions about the process, you can call our staff at 860-444-5813 between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. Monday to Friday. With that,
should we call the meeting to order? At what time?
4:08.
Okay, the meeting's called to order at 4:08. Item 2, the plan review. Take a roll. What? Take a roll call first. Oh, I thought you took the roll.
I haven't done it yet.
Okay, we have Ed Pellegrini,
Yep.
Joy Merrill, and Robert Nye so far. John O'Neill is not here yet. Okay.
Okay, well, that still establishes a quorum. So.
It does. All right. Plan reviews, number PL-22-9, request of property 806 LLC, owner and applicant for a site plan / special permit approval for a drive-through car wash at 806 Hartford Turnpike, C-G zone, in accordance with sections 8.2.17, 22, and 23 of the zoning regulations, and as shown on plans entitled, quote, proposed car wash, 806 Hartford Turnpike, Waterford, Connecticut, end quote. So we'll proceed, folks, gentlemen. Who would like to start off?
This is Jarvis. Jim, do you believe it makes sense to start off with our architect to address some of the aesthetics, or do you want to have the landscape architect start off?
Let me dive in first, Jarvis. I'll give everybody a quick overview relatively quickly, and things that I have on my radar. I'll turn it over to Joe to give, probably a 1 minute or 2 minute overview of the landscape. And then I'll turn it over to Mark for some landscaping items. But thank you everyone. For the record, Jim Bernardino with CMG Engineering. I think it'd be worthwhile to share my screen. I'll give everybody a little bit of an overview of where we were, where we are now, and we'll go from there. So requesting sharing a screen. So everybody should have a copy of the PDF in front of them. Now, this is an older version. I just wanted to give everybody a quick overview that back in 2019, the convenience store that's directly adjacent to the proposed car wash was approved. It was approximately about a 4,200 square foot car wash. At the time of approval, we had 5 dispensing locations, drive-through circulation around the building. That site is currently under construction. Most of you are probably aware of that. But what we're here in front of everybody today for is the added parcel directly to the east of the site, which is approximately a 3/4 of an acre of DOT land that was purchased probably maybe a little over a year ago now by the applicant, directly adjacent to the 2.25 acre convenience store parcel. Now those 2 parcels have been added since the purchase of the DOT parcel. So we're just under 3 acres of a development parcel. Now the proposal is to maintain existing curb cuts along Hartford Turnpike to allow for access and egress to the car wash. Part of some characteristics that were changed to the car wash during the construction process that was worked out with staff and we believe was a de minimis site plan change. One major component that we've incorporated was we reduced the 5 approved dispensers down to 4, which allowed us to free up area in the front of the store to enhance the site circulation for the safety and consideration of the patrons of both the convenience store and hopefully the future car wash. As we mentioned, we have 1 egress from the site, 1 entrance to the site to gain access to both the convenience store and car wash, and we have 1 egress with a right turn only requirement or allowance out of the site. The proposal is to connect. I'm sorry. Okay. The proposal was to obviously develop the 3/4 of an acre that was purchased by the DOT, allow for a cross connection to the convenience store. This will allow for just over a 3,000 square foot footprint of a car wash. We have 10 vacuum systems that are proposed to be a central vac system for the as an amenity to the car wash. We have access to the car wash. We have in excess of 20 queuing spaces from the point of sale, which is a minor kiosk, not a kiosk, but a automatic kiosk, basically digital, so you could purchase car wash as well as the vacuums. So coming into the site, you're going to be directed to the south to gain access to the car wash, counterclockwise circulation through the car wash tunnel, and then back out to the available vacuum positions. Now, with the vacuum becomes what's associated with that is a central vacuum system unit. So we have a dumpster enclosure, and inside that will be the housing for the vacuum equipment. And that vacuum equipment is obviously in addition to the individual stands that you'll see at the parking spaces dedicated for the vacuum system. That enclosure is going to be a 6-foot high solid white vinyl fence, so it will be screened from the public way. Just for a quick visual of this is part of the submission materials as well. Now these are the pay stations. Cars on this one would approach from the back up to the front. We would have an automated gate. This one shows 2 that are staggered. Our 2 are pretty much in line with each other. But this is the intended configuration for those pay stations. Just a different view with the automatic paying material here, clearance bar, obviously, so we have to make sure appropriate vehicles go through the car wash. Just another perspective that was submitted as part of your package. And then this is just a spec sheet of the pay station where you actually use your credit cards or your customer, loyalty reward cards, things of that nature. This is a side elevation of the vacuum units itself, where the customers would actually come up and use it. Car would park up in this location here and use the hose to swing. Now, this hose are situated on either side of the parking stall, so it's between the gap of the 2 cars in the stalls. So it's not hanging directly over the car themselves. This is just a isometric of the vacuum units that'll be housed in that enclosure that I mentioned before. So it's going to be an exterior unit, but it will have a solid screen wall on all sides. But on the back side over here would be the dumpster. So we're just kind of incorporating the enclosures and the screening into one consolidated area. part of the overall development too is we have a state-of-the-art water recovery system that dramatically, more than cuts in half the water usage for the overall project. So we've been working with the utility department for specifications on that to demonstrate how this enhanced system promotes less water usage and less sewage flows than the typical car wash facilities that you see out there. Lastly, before I turn it over to Joe for some landscaping, we took the approved lighting plan and the approved fixtures and built upon what was previously reviewed by the town. So what we're doing is we provided a photometric plan that demonstrates zero light spillage to the abutting areas. To the south is a little bit undeveloped area, DOT land. To the east is, I believe it's the southbound on-ramp to 95. Then obviously Hartford Turnpike up to the north. Just for a quick overview, these are the light fixtures that are proposed and are being implemented into the existing site that are also intended to be implemented on the proposed car wash site. The first one here that you see is going to be the wall-mounted fixtures that are to be located in this area over here around the perimeter of the building to provide lighting to the vacuum areas, exit lane, as well as some additional lighting at the pay stations. The second one you see here is the site lights, LED lighting downlit. And the last one you see is associated with the canopy. So not necessarily under review for this application, but obviously we thought it would be worthwhile to show that just for a cohesive lighting plan of the overall property. With that, I could turn it over to landscaping. Joe can give a quick overview, unless the board feels differently. I'll turn it over to Joe. I'll stop sharing the best I can. I don't think I could stop sharing. I'm trying.
I think if Joe has something to display, then his will bump yours.
All right, let me throw mine up on screen here and
we'll give it a shot.
I got radio, Jim.
There we go.
All right, can everyone see the landscape plan there?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. My name is Joe Cohen. I'm the project landscape architect. So basically, considering the characteristics of the proposed use here, namely the amount of impervious surface, pavement, things of that nature, there's an effect such as, salt use, heat island effect, and, that kind of characteristic that I, tried to design toward. So the plant palette was chosen basically as, proven street trees, parking lot trees, that kind of thing that, they hold up well in those conditions. They tolerate the temperature fluctuations, the salt use, etc. They're used quite extensively in the Northeast, especially in Connecticut there, and do very well. And similar with the shrub use, those are all, proven bulletproof plants there. They do well in those environments, and they add some color, they add some texture, and I think they play well off of each other there in the landscape beds. So we tried to add as many trees as we could here without obstructing sight lines or having anything overhanging cars coming in and out of the queue there. So the trees over here, there's Alcova, similar, just to provide shade to as much of the parking area as possible. The honey locust as well, they offer more of a filtered shade. They have, a leaf structure that allows some light to get through there. And then toward the back, just some conifers to try to screen some of this area. and then just some, some shrubs around the building to kind of, dress up some of the architecture there, complement the architecture. And, that was basically it from the landscape side of things here. So if there are any questions or anything, I can try to answer them right now, or do you want to do that at the end here?
Thanks, Joe. I think what we can do now is we can turn it over to Mark to run through his architecture overview, and then that'll kind of complete the trifecta on our end, and then give it back to the board.
Jim, excuse me, Jim, one of the members.
I was just curious about, there was an aerial that was quickly removed. Did that have anything to do with this project? In other words, what I would like to see is, how does this fit into a larger context, some sort of an aerial, or what's, how does it fit into the larger surroundings?
Yeah, so that was on my screen. I had that as a backdrop just in case this type of question came up. If you'd like, I could bring that up now. Yes, and hit architecture again in a moment. So let me bring that up. You know what? I'm gonna share this screen, because I got 3 screens and I get confused which one's which. Very good. So here is our site. This is an old aerial. I apologize for that, but they haven't captured the new construction yet. So this is 806 Hartford Turnpike, before the redevelopment that's currently underway. The 3/4 of an acre of parcel that we see is pretty much up, almost up through this tree line in here. So this is the new development parcel. So for continuity with the surrounding area, we do have a relatively significant separation to the west, which is Home Depot. This is where we have wetlands and things of that nature that were all reviewed and approved as part of the development of the C-store. To the south, you'll see 95, and to the southeast, we have the 95 southbound on-ramp, which does have a relatively significant separation between the car wash parcel. So there's quite a big open grassed area. Now, doing a little wider scan, as you can see, we are several hundreds, thousands of feet, probably give or take, to any other type of development to the southeast of the 95 interchange. Across the way, we do have Harvard Health Rehabilitation Center, Waterford Dental, and then the residential community is a relatively significant distance away. So that kind of gives us the general aspect of what's around the immediate area. I could dive in a little bit more, zoom out if anybody would like to see that.
That's satisfactory as far as I'm concerned. Thank you. Okay.
Perfect.
I do like to see how these projects fit within context. So thank you.
Yep, no problem. So with that, we can roll into the architecture unless there's anything else we want to dive into at this point.
Great. Can everybody see my screen there? The building floor plan?
Yes.
All right. Great. My name is Mark Metzger. I'm with Cornerstone Consulting Engineers and Architectural. We're the architects that are going to be handling the project for the car wash as well as building engineering. So what we have in front of you there is a 94 by 32 foot, standard conveyor type car wash. This area is, the cars enter here, come through. You have the conveyor system. We have a stair tower in the back to an upper storage area. We have a public office, a public restroom, and then our main mechanical systems room right here. Overall, the building's around 3,800 square foot. If you look at both floors, we have a 3,100 square foot footprint for this building. As far as the exterior is concerned, we have what I'd like to lovingly refer to as a modern style architecture with a bit of a craftsman influence, an early American which would end up as what most people consider a modern backwater. So this is very similar to what's going on with the adjacent structure. Try to complement it, both in the finishes and the massing of the structure. Although the structure that we're proposing here is a bit larger. So as far as the length is concerned and how it's configured. So when we look at the roof lines, what we didn't want to do was come in with a peaked roof, as if the structure would get much too large and distracting from the other structures there. So we tried to blend it in to what's there and have both structures complement each other. So in order to do that, we just changed the levels of the roof to create just a breakup of the massing of the building and have it tie with the finishes to the adjacent structure. So I'll move here to the finishes. So the different finishes that we're looking at here are the cultured stone veneer, which is what you see at the base of the adjacent C-store. We're looking at the woodstone rustic series mountain cedar panels, which if you're wondering what that is, Woodstone is an aftermarket company that takes James Hardie panels and then stains them with a very durable stain, and they remarket the panels as the mountain cedar, which is it's a really nice product, and it's got a very good warranty on the system. And then up top we have the James Hardie vertical siding with the deep ocean color, and of course the break metal fascias and culverts up top. So it all ties together with what we were proposing for, for next door. I think it complements that architecture very well. As far as some of the items that Jim was talking about a little bit earlier, you can see the back systems there. The back systems that are shown in this rendering were a little bit more conceptual than what Jim had. I know they're considering different types of backs for the site, but I think we're probably a little bit closer to what Jim was showing than what I'm showing here, which is very curvy. That's pretty much it for the building. It's rather simple structure, and the finishes I think are complementing of what's going on out there on the site. Did you have any questions for me on the building?
Yes.
Okay.
Joy Merrill. On the pay kiosk.
On the what?
The pay kiosk.
Pay kiosks.
Yeah.
The pay stations.
Pay stations. Okay. The color was like a orange red.
Yeah. So what Jim showed you was the manufacturer's cut sheet on the base unit. That unit will probably be supplied, I would imagine, to complement this building. The building it was shown with had all kinds of red accents on it and things like that. When you order the actual equipment for this, I believe we can request a base color that's going to be more conducive to blend with the ocean blue James Hardie siding that's up top. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jarvis, but I believe that was the intent here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that was a discordant piece of it. That was my comment.
Yes, it was.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Worries. Any other questions on the building?
I'm wondering, do you have an image that shows the two buildings together?
No.
No.
Okay.
They do flip back and forth really quick.
I'm just kind of toggling back and forth, trying to figure out where the materials are similar.
Yeah, so if you look at the stone veneers that are down at the base of this building, the stones that's showing there, it's just actually the same stone spec. Unfortunately, my image is a little bit browner when I'm looking at it on the screen than this photo, which was, I had them text me this photo actually yesterday because the building's still under construction. So coming from a phone into Photoshop and then into my presentation.
Oh yeah, I understand.
Deviate slightly, but so we have that stone, we have the blue vertical siding on this, but we have horizontal blue lap siding here, same manufacturer, same color. And then up here, let me see if I can zoom in on this. So you have the cedar planking up inside of there, which then is,
okay.
if
That's duplicated on the other building, right? The windows seem to be about the same scale.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, if we went with a peaked roof on the car wash structure, I think it would start to get, the massing would be out of control. So yeah, I mean, although this area is more conducive to buildings with a peaked roof, this really works a lot better for it.
All right. Any other questions?
One other question, what is the lighting for the signage here? Is be downlit so there wouldn't be distractive for the highway?
I mean, right now, what I see is channel letters. Yeah, I mean, lit channel letters. Now, that's something that needs to be resolved yet. I'm never opposed to, you know, a downlit sign like that. Although we need to bring them out further in the fascia to make sure we get the face of the letters lit up. But I mean, I'm not sure. I'd have to do a little bit more study on your signage ordinance to see if the illuminated channel letters are allowed.
Okay.
But I think that would be preferred for this location.
Just asking.
That's here, Mark, town planner. We do allow downlit lights for the signage. That's allowed by our zoning ordinance.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you were.
I'm sorry. You had a question as to whether or not the ordinances, town ordinances, would allow downlit lighting on your sign. We do allow that. We do allow.
Yeah, I think the question would more so be illuminated channel letters.
I've got a question on the sign.
Go ahead.
Is the sign, we haven't seen the sign. Is the sign clearly annotated that the entrance is the same for the car wash and the gas station?
I'm gonna defer that question to Jim because he's put together the site directional signage.
Thanks. There is Jarvis and his team are working on a final. It's not a pylon; it's more of a monument sign. It's a tall sign that has multiple tenants. So there will be a sign at the primary, well, the only site entrance for the two facilities. So there will be signage independently for the users there. The gas use, there's also be a Starbucks use at the end of the day, and the car wash will also be one. So each one of those uses will have their own independent branding on the signage itself. So that in itself would demark the locations for the entrance of the site, entrance of the car wash. You know, all
I apologize. You're breaking up. So there's one sign with both annotated.
Yeah, this is Jarvis speaking. I can say a couple things to this. I think what Jim was conveying is that because it's one property, it's not considered two parcels. We are required to share the same pylon sign. It's not a very big pylon sign, so it is tight to try to get the three tenants signage on there. We're thinking that, you know, for directional, we may have to leverage that sign because of the entrance. But obviously the Breeze car wash on the building itself, which is standard in industry practice, helps in that case. I think Ed is talking, but his thing is muted, so I don't think we're hearing what he's saying.
That's good, all right, because it gives me a headache.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
I think the sign is important, so I'll leave it up to the planners to make sure the sign is very directive as to the car wash entrance. I think the sign on the car wash might be more confusing than helpful.
Jim, it might be helpful if you bring up your plan and show it, if there's, point out if there's any directional signage on the site.
I got two other questions. How do the people get through the car wash? Is that on a chassis or a pulley or something, or do they drive through?
Yes, Joy is correct. It's a conveyor.
Okay, thanks. I got a senior education item also. What do the small S's and D's mean on the plan that you're on now?
What was that question, please?
The circles with the S's and the D's in them, what's that mean? Right there, those S's. See all those little circles with the S in them?
Yep, I was trying to find my unmute button.
Stop sign.
So,
stop signs?
No.
Over here?
I believe that's the reclaim system, the reclaim tanks.
Yeah, these are the reclaim tanks. S's are manhole structures or reclaim tanks that discharge to the sewer system. They identify the sewer structures that are subsurface. Oh. D's are for drainage surface. Drainage
it's all underground.
It's all underground. But you'll physically see them on the surface. You'll see the manhole cover.
I'm sorry, what are the S's?
The S's are for the sewer system, the underground sewer manholes and structures.
A lot of manholes.
It's the reclaim system. So the reclaim system that's associated with this car wash.
I didn't see anything on the key denoting that.
Yeah. Let me see. Do we have a key? No. Yeah. We do have a master key sheet. We had an abridged version of the site plans that went to. We had a lot of other types of details that weren't necessarily related to the design review, but our overall site plan does note these and what they are associated. When you look at the grading and drainage plans that give these and the utility plans that give more detail to this, all those keynotes are annotated within the site plan set.
Also, to help answer Ed's question about the directional signs for the car wash, it is part and parcel with like a gas station car wash. So when people pull up to the pumps, we can advertise the car wash on the pumps, and they'll see when they're getting their gas, they'll see the car wash like right adjacent, and they can actually even do a transaction on the gas pumps, on the MPDs, the dispensers, to purchase the car wash and then drive over to the car wash and be served that way.
Well, my concern isn't so much on the site as getting on the site.
So when they come into the site for the, well, I see what you're saying. Jim, there's probably directional markings and waypoints on the pavement as well, correct?
There we go. I got to unmute. So to gain access to the site, we do have our car wash here in this wooded area. All right. Our driveway locations are not changing on the plan. So those that are familiar with the familiar with the gas station, who will hopefully come familiar with the car wash, will have an understanding of how to gain access. Now, there is adequate signage on all of these, both of the entrance and exit. So we do have our primary signage that represents the businesses that will be located at the front for the primary entrance points. Now, this access drive gives us, gives the customers access from both the directions off of 85. So the right turns in as well as the left turns in. So this other entrance, or the secondary, the one further to the east that's dedicated as an exit only, will be noted that way on the site plans with do not enter signs and the like. So that if you do happen to miss this one entry access point, you know, there is markations out there on the site plans that, you know, would hopefully identify to the customers that, you know, this is not an access point. So, you know, with that, we do anticipate some potential wayfinding signs. So here's our two entry points again. You know, we probably do anticipate some entries, some wayfinding signs, smaller in nature, similar to like drive-through directional signage on the site that would direct customers to the car wash themselves. But as far as the entrance and exit points, we have, you know, stop bars and stop signs, as well as the primary the primary pylon sign at the beginning of at the entrance of the site.
And I think with the nature of the businesses, it's a, you know, it's a common occurrence where you've got a plaza and you have to learn that you go into the plaza in order to access each of the businesses. And with car washes, it's typically used by local people who want to get their cars washed. They find that there's a decent wash with the gas station. We can go and get gas. We can get our car washed. You know, on a rare occasion, someone will be an impulse to say, oh, I see the big car wash, and they might go past the entrance, and either we lose that customer on that particular day because he's like, I don't have time to turn around and go back. But that's, you know, that's business. That's the nature of it.
Very good. Are there any other questions? Concerns? All right. How does the board feel about this proposal? Do we need to make any notes before we vote?
Just that the color on the paste station would comply.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
John, I think Ed had a comment that he was leaving up to the commission. I can't remember what it was. Something to do with signage. All right. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Any other concerns? All right. Is there a motion to move this proposal along?
Motion made to approve this.
Second.
All in favor? With the note made by Joy?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Ed?
He's on mute.
Did we lose Ed? I can't see him on my screen. I can't see if he's raising his hand. Okay.
We've lost contact with Ed, but we still do have a quorum for the vote.
All right. Very good. So, all right.
Thank you very much.
Very good. Yes, gentlemen, thank you very much for your time. I know this has been a rather problematic Zoom call, especially on my end, but appreciate your patience.
No worries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Is that funny?
All right. On to approval of the minutes from April 12th. Everybody had a chance to read them?
Yep.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Joy. And all in favor of the minutes from April 12th?
Aye.
Aye. Very good. All right. If there's no other business, is there a motion to adjourn?
Is there anything coming up for, that would be my only question. Abby?
Yeah, there's some elements that are in either preliminaries or early stages of things. So perhaps some industrial commercial development on Oil Mill Road. Yeah, so it's expansion of multifamily residential is being considered for a zone change before it comes for
Right.
an actual application. So there's some things that have to happen before the next iteration of stuff gets to the group.
We have one that might roll into a formal, the dental office at the very beginning of Broad Street Extension. Just past with People's Bank, if you're heading towards Crystal Mall, on the left as you head down. Across from the eye doctor.
Oh, the periodontics?
Yes, yes. So they're coming in, they're putting an addition on the building. So they're expanding that, so that will come before you. I anticipate that will be in short order coming up.
Very good.
Thank you.
Terrific. Always appreciate the updates.
Yep.
Okay. All right then. Again, if there's nothing else, is there a call to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Thank you, Bob. A second. Joy, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Again, apologies for my tardiness and then technical errors, but oh well, we get through it. Thanks.
Bye.